Narayanam namaskrityam naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu Nityaṁ bhāgavata-sevayā bhagavati uttama-shloke bhaktir-bhavati naistiki आराधयो भगवान् वजीशतनयस् तद्धाम वृन्दावनम् रम्या काचिदुपासना व्रजवधू वर्गेण वा कल्पिता श्रीमद्-भागवतं प्रमाणममलं प्रेमापुमार्थो महान् Śrī Caitanya-Mahāprabhur-matamidaṃ tatrādharānāpara Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna-pristhaya bhūtale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschad Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Granth Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 29, Kṛṣṇa and the Gopis meeting for the rasa dance. So we have read where Shukdev Goswami is describing the situation of how sad and morose and depressed the Gopis were after hearing the unfavorable words of Kṛṣṇa. Oh, you go back, right? Be with your family, be with your kids, husbands, parents, etc., etc. So they started crying, their voice was choked up, and it shows their intense love. We were talking about how that even if Kṛṣṇa says, oh, leave me, the devotee never leaves Kṛṣṇa. This is the faith. So now they started to speak to Kṛṣṇa. Let's see what they spoke. The Supreme Lord. Gopya uchuhu Maivam vibho harati bhavan gaditum drisam sham Santyaj sarva vishayam stava padamulam Bhakta bhajasva duravagrahamatyajasmat Devo yathadi purusho bhajate mumukshun. Translation. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The beautiful Gopis said, O all-powerful one, you should not speak in this cruel way. Do not reject us, who have renounced all material enjoyment to render devotional service to your lotus feet. Reciprocate with us, O stubborn one, just as the primeval Lord Narayana reciprocates with his devotees in their endeavors for liberation. I'm somehow feeling that we read this verse. Raghuprabhu, you can recall where we stopped?
Yes, I think so. I recall the stubborn one. So I think we read this.
Yes, we read that. I think we read this too. Right?
Right. 33, I think, is where we start.
Okay. Sorry for my poor memory. Let's read 33. Kurvanti hi tvayiratim kushala svatman nitya priye pati sutadbir artidaikim tannah prasida parameshwaramasmachindya asham dhritam tvai chirad aravinda netra. Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Expert transcendentalists always direct their affection towards you because they recognize you as their true self and eternal beloved. What use do we have for these husbands, children, relatives of ours who simply give us trouble? Therefore, O Supreme Controller, grant us your mercy. O Lotus-eyed One, please do not cut down our long-cherished hope to have your association. Hare Krishna. The Gopis continue to speak in these verses that the transcendentalists, the great transcendentalists, are always looking. Krishna is the best friend, the best well-wisher of everyone, the eternal lover, Priya. The Gopis are saying that what is the use of serving husbands and this and that? Ultimately, they give us trouble, right? I mean, of course, we cannot just simply kind of imitate it. But understanding the mood, like some people are so attached to family, and their very family becomes a source of misery. There are many, many people like that. And then the number continues to grow as the Kali Yuga is progressing. The whole life one is busy serving someone, but in this whole dynamics, one forgets to serve Krishna. So we are not against serving family. One must do one's best as per time, place, situations, whatever Krishna has bestowed one with, the resources, facilities. But one must not forget serving Krishna. Sa mata, sa pita, sa bandhu. Those are the real relatives, friends, well-wishers, those who help us to get closer to Krishna. What is the use of so-called, relatives and so-called friends who entangle us more in this material bondage? So this is what the Gopis are saying in this text number 33. That one must not give one's service to Krishna, one not at any cost, at any moment. So this is text number 33. Again, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given detailed commentaries on every verse. Let's read maybe a little bit. There's long discussions that on this verse. We will read the next verse. Okay, let's move on to text 34. Yes, Raghu Prabhu or Subal Prabhu, you want to read?
I can read. Yeah. So Hare Krishna devotees. Text.
Raghu Prabhu, would you like to start?
Are you able to hear?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Text 34. Chittam sukena bhavata partam griheshu yan nivrasati yuta karav karav api grahya kritye padav padam na chalatas tava padam mula yamaha katam prajam ato karvama kinva. Translation and purport by the disciples of Śrī Prabhupada. Jai to the disciples and Śrī Prabhupada. Until today, our minds were absorbed in household affairs, but you easily stole both our minds and our hands away from our housework. Now our feet won't move even one step from your lotus feet. How can we go back to Raja? What would we do there? Purport. Sri Krishna had blown into his flute, and the intoxicating music that had come out of its holes had stolen the minds of the young Gopi girls. Now they had come to see Krishna to demand back their stolen property, but they could regain their minds only if Sri Krishna accepted them, engaged with them in conjugal affairs. Sri Krishna might have replied, "But my dear Gopis, just go home for now. Let me consider the situation for a day or two, and then I will give you back your minds." In reply to this possible argument, the Gopi state, "Our feet refuse to move even one step. So please give us back our minds and accept us, and then we'll go." Hare Krishna. So the Gopis continue to be enchanted by Sri Krishna's flute and all the intoxicating music that came out of it. So their minds, Krishna has stolen their minds, if I understand this correctly, and so as a result, they have no interest in going back home. They just want to continue with what they're doing, be with Krishna all the time. So they're asking Krishna to give their minds back, which they describe as being stolen property. Thank you, Prabhuji. Back to you. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for reading this. Krishna, as we know, there's one beautiful quote of Prabhupada in a picture one devotee made, stealing hearts from time immemorial. And then he's like Krishna carrying a bag full of hearts. So he's the one, like Hriday Chor or Man Mohana, Man ko mohit kar, who captivates the mind. Or Chitta Chors. Chitta also is referred to mind, consciousness. Krishna stole my consciousness, my mind, or my heart. They're used interchangeably at many times. That's what the gopis are saying. Our mind is here. We are where our mind is, right? We are where our heart is. So they were completely absorbed in Krishna. They said, we don't care. Our home, let it burn, let it, whatever happened. I mean, that's what they left. The milk was boiling, some baking was going on. They left everything, because trivial, in short. It's not important. What's the most important thing for the gopis, for the pure souls, is pure bhakti, pure, to be with Krishna. That was the most important thing, and for that they could leave everything. That's the sign of pure devotee. How much emphasis they were giving to Krishna. How much of a priority Krishna was in their life. Any other thoughts, comments anyone has? Okay, let's read the next verse, text 35. Dev Prabhu or Subal Prabhu want to read.
I can. Hare Krishna devotees and the pranam of Sri Prabhupada. Text number 35. Sanchingana tvad adharamrita purakena asvaloka kalagita jahri chadinam no ched vayam viraha Aina upayukte deha dehenena yama padayo padam padavim sakate. Dear Krishna, please pour the nectar of your lips upon the fire within our hearts. A fire you ignited with your smiling glances and the sweet song of your flute. If you do not, we will co-sign our bodies with the fire of separation from you, O friend, and thus, like yogis, attain to the abode of your lotus feet by meditation. Hare Krishna, wonderful as you mentioned. So all the gopis, were very much attached to the lotus feet of Lord Kṛṣṇa. So now they are telling that, please pour the nectar, from your lips, because their hearts are burning, for Kṛṣṇa, so that they are, requesting Kṛṣṇa to blaze, with their blazing hearts with his sweet song of flute. Otherwise, they are ready to give up their bodies and attain, at the lotus feet of Lord Kṛṣṇa by meditating upon him, like yogis do, because they are all, they are always, they are ready to go to anywhere. As we know that, even they were ready to go to hell for hundreds and thousands of years just for a moment of pleasure to Lord Kṛṣṇa. That's my understanding.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for this beautiful verse. This separation on fire, many acharyas comment. In fact, the Mangalarti in ISKCON begins with this every day. The morning program in all these ISKCON temples and centers, it begins with this. That this world, is samsara dava nalalidha loka. It's like a fire. There is fire at every moment in material world. But that's like a disastrous fire. What fire of ego, fire, or sometimes forest fire, which devour property, devour people, animals, or fire of fighting, nuclear weapons and this weapon, that weapon. There is so much stress, anxiety, countries fighting, world fighting. There is so many adi devik, adi bhautik, adi atmik, ego clashes, this, that, so many on amongst in every part of the material world. That's a fire for materialistic people. Now, pure devotees also have a fire going on inside their heart. And that is the fire of pure Krishna consciousness. The desire to be with the Lord, the desire to serve the Lord. That's also like a blazing fire which purifies one. So that is good. Of course, that's an analogy. It's not like the literal fire. One devotee, one think even the brahmacharis, their cloth is saffron, which also is the color of fire, right? That's like purifying. That means they have to do a lot of tap. to like fire and purify themselves and anyone who comes in contact, right? So here the gopis are saying basically that you have ignited the fire, and if you do not be with us, then we will practically just give up our lives. It's a very big statement. Only a pure devotee can, do that. Not saying, okay, if I don't get Kṛṣṇa, maybe I'll just go back home. Okay, some other day. Okay, maybe next time. Materialistic people delay bhakti and prioritize material enjoyment. Is it not? Right? Their priority is material enjoyment. They don't want to delay. That they don't want to delay. Therefore, new car comes in the town. Everyone wants. New movie comes in the town. Right? First day, first show. Right? So the devotees should try to have that in the spiritual sense. Enthusiasm, an opportunity to serve. That's what the gopis are saying. This is the most important thing for us. If we don't get this, we'll die. We'll leave our body. Right? That means they really, really mean it. They're not just saying for the sake of saying. I remember our Grace Yamuna Mataji one time, she was cooking for Srila Prabhupada. It was a train. I think you may have done train rides in India. This like the long distance trains, not the local trains. So they have a thing called pantry. It's not very healthy or hygienic, especially for cooking for Prabhupada, right? They make all sorts of things there, and so, but somehow, so Yamuna Mataji said to the train, she's a Western devotee and young American girl, asking the train people that I want to cook for my guru because he needs, some offering. And she asked, I need to cook in your whatever pantry with they had some things they needed, but I need to use the space, right? You can't lit up a fire in the bogie, right? So they said, what are you asking? You're the first person practically who must have asked that. Oh, like, I mean, I have done like at least like when I was in India in college, like every month I used to. I've never seen anyone like even I never even thought that someone would even ask for it, right? An Indian person, oh, so much is available outside on stations or pantry. There's no one asks, I want to cook. Like how many of us have even the flights asked, oh, I want to make a coffee myself, or I want to make a herbal tea in your using your kettles and whatnot. Maybe we can ask for hot water, maybe we can ask for something, cold water. But I want to cook in your kitchen. Like they had unheard, and that too from an American person, right? That was like crazy. And they said, no, 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 we can't allow you this, that, this, that. Then the fire of serving the Guru was so deep, so intense. She said, if you don't allow me, I'll jump off this moving train. Literally. And she meant it. Mm. And they could see the intensity with what she was speaking. And then they finally allowed, because she had that great fire of serving the Guru, serving Srila Prabhupada, making something what Prabhupada must have asked for at that time. So this fire is good. Fire to serve Krishna, fire to serve Guru, fire to serve Vaishnava. Basically enthusiasm, pure enthusiasm to do the best. Otherwise, what is life anyways meant for? It's not worth living, actually. Animals also, animals also live whatever tenure. Some have 10 years, some have 10 months, some have 100 years, some have 1,000 years. Everyone is living their tenure. But that day, that year, that tenure is worth living, which is spent in the service of Guru and Vaishnavas. This is what the Gopis are teaching us. Any other thoughts, comments?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. I have one question. Yeah, the last sentence there, aren't the Gopis saying that if they cannot get to Krishna, if he's not going to accept them the way he has stolen their minds and hearts, then if that's not successful, then they'll, like the yogis, they'll get to him by an alternate method of meditation, just like the yogis did. I'm just trying to understand that. Back to you, Hare Krishna.
Yes, there are Ashtanga yogas, and the perfection of all that yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, dhyan, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, and even the after the 8 samadhis, siddhi, ishvara, pranidhana. The perfection of even samadhi is complete attachment to Ishwar or Krishna. That, especially in Kali Yuga, it's a very long, lengthy, complicated way. Bhakti Yoga is much more easy, practical, because I think we have discussed the Dhyana Yoga chapter. If we go in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna does mention about Dhyana Yoga, which was primarily meant for the previous ages, like going to the Himalayas, sitting on the deer skin, treating gold and stone alike. There are a lot of qualities mentioned. Now, who can do that? Treat stone and gold alike? Like, very rare. Sitting on the deer skin, like, give up family, complete celibacy, give up everything, home, family, go. So that may not be so practical. What we therefore we do is called mantra meditation, which is open for all, young and old, rich and poor, married or unmarried, etc. No prerequisites. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya gave this. He didn't emphasize on dhyana, right? The word dhyana is what? Even in chanting, what we're doing, we're trying to absorb and think of Krishna. Remember Krishna. But this here in particular is referring to dhyana yoga or ashtanga yoga, where the yogis, they would, in that state of samadhi, practically like like their body would turn, the fire would come. So the yogis, they have the strength to kind of leave their body through the internal fire, right? Now, it may be hard for us to think like that, and neither it is like recommended, but that's the point. And of course, we also know that what is their destination. Now, depends on what they are meditating on. If they're meditating on the localized Paramatma form, their destination will be one. If they are meditating on the Brahma Jyoti, oh, I'll become one with the God, then they'll go to the spiritual space, also called Viraja River or Brahma Jyoti or the spiritual effulgence. Now it depends, right? What we are meditating on, right? Antakali chamami vasparan muktva kalevaram. Right? Whatever state we leave our body, so whatever in short, we are thinking, if they're meditating on the personal form of the Supreme Lord, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar, of course, they'll go there. So it depends on what this. But generally, the yogis, the dhyanis, they're meditating more on either the Brahma Jyoti aspect, trying to be one with the Lord, right? Some may be meditating on the Paramatma aspect. So it depends what they're meditating. And I think we have discussed even think Dhritarashtra also left his body by the self fire, right? Or there was a forest fire, or it was like self-ignited. So there are many instances in the story of scriptures that women have self-ignited their body, right? Because they felt it was impure, and right. So the classic example, I think, comes in the Sati, right? Sorry, the Daksha Putri. Hmm? The Daksha Yagya, what was her name? Sati? Right? So she left her body in the like self heat, right? She so they have that strength. We cannot lit even I was like lighting the matchstick yesterday. Even with the proper tools, it's so hard to lit the fire sometimes, right? What to speak of all this, but at least knowing, um, yeah, that these are in the previous yugas, different ages, different recommended processes are there. But yeah, this yoga, again, mantra meditation, Hare Nam, Hare Nam eva kevalam. Kadeva nastev, 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 gatir anyatha. This is the easy, sublime, and the recommended process of Bhakti Yoga. Does that help, Prabhuji?
Yes, I think that's very good. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Haribol. I think Baldev Prabhu wanted to add something.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, yeah, actually, I was going through the Vibhuti Yoga in the Gita. Out of 70 Vibhutis, Lord was mentioning, like among the month is the Agrayan or Margashishya. So, among the Japa, he's the Japo Jaggo. So, that I missed in the past, but it came back again that among the Jagga, he's the Japa Jaggo, chanting. So, Prabhuji, my question was, like, is it true? I didn't find any shastras, but it's a lot of time I hear that until our enjoyment of the material world is not exhausted, we are not attracted to the Krishna. Like in this lifetime, I came to Krishna. It may take many times, but before coming to Krishna in this lifetime, I was enjoying myself and finished my enjoyment until I find back again Krishna and trying to reach him or go back to him.
Sorry, I had a bad connection. So material, until the material, um, maybe it was my connection or Prabhu's, I don't know. I missed one
Yes.
line. So what's the question? Until the material
So-
enjoyment
Is exhausted, that means people don't turn around to Krishna until they enjoy their metal enjoyment. They are not finished with, they don't look back to the Krishna.
Mhm. Like beginning or like pure? You're talking about like pure bhakti or talking about beginning the bhakti?
Beginning of the bhakti.
Okay.
Pure bhakti might take few years, few lifetimes,
Mm-hmm.
but still to come back to the Krishna, we have to adjust our enjoyment with the material world. That means doing all the enjoyment in my previous lifetimes. Now I'm tired of, and now coming back to Krishna. Did you ever heard these type of things?
Yes, sure. So beginning, okay, let me draw. I remember one of my friends recently asked similar question. Imagine this as a graph, right? X-axis, Y-axis. Now what does this represent? This represents time scale. And this is the consciousness scale. 0%, let's say 100%. And I'll choose different colors for that. How do I choose color? I'm giving the option. Oh, yeah. So the red represents Krishna consciousness, and the dark, the black represents material consciousness. Now this time you can say years or lifetimes or days, different. So in the beginning, we start with here, right? Somewhere our Krishna consciousness began. Like that's basically, it could be in the previous life, right? So someone, let's say a child born to devotee parents, they may have already done like 20%, let's say 10, 20, 50, right? 80. So they are starting from here, right? In this life, their day zero or the day of conception, they already are 20% Krishna conscious. Someone could be starting from at any point. We don't know that. But ultimately, what is consciousness? Consciousness is a blend of material desires and spiritual desires, is it not? Someone could have only material desires, no room for Krishna. Someone has only spiritual desires, there is no room for material desires. And some are different combination, 20-80, right? This is 20% Krishna, 80% Maya. This is someone who is more advanced, more mature, 80% Krishna conscious. There is still some trace, as you were talking about. Even the Vedachari, Rishachari Gopis, they had some traces, right? And so our goal is basically to keep moving forward. Now we may have started here, that's okay, but as long as we are moving in the right direction, that means Krishna consciousness is gradually increasing, and it's like either this or that. So if Krishna consciousness is increasing, then material consciousness will gradually go down. Our desire to lord over the material nature, our desire to be the proprietor, our desire to be selfish enjoyer will go down. The more we are with Krishna, the more we are with devotees, the more we are reading, hearing, serving, chanting, this has, and this is why we are here, to gradually uplift our consciousness and go on this path. So it will take time. It's an organic, slow process. But let's try to do our best so we don't have to take repeated birth in this material world, and try to get to this point, 100% Krishna conscious. This is our goal. 0% Maya, right? Only Krishna. Right now, we can honestly ask ourselves, where in this 0 to 100% we think, and what are the activities and things which will help me to become more Krishna conscious. That doesn't mean, oh, when I give up my job, then I'll be 100% Krishna conscious, right? That's not the point. Even pure devotees like Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Tukaram Maharaj, there are so many Mahabhagavats, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, right? They were grihasthas. So, of course, one should have a plan that I should not work till 70 years of my life. And, because ultimately, this is how the Varnashrama system is also designed, right? To gradually keep elevating our consciousness, and as the time clock is running, and we are getting closer to that, so our consciousness should keep elevating gradually. This is how Krishna has designed the ashramas also. So does that help? Was that like aligned with your question?
Yeah, yes, very nice, Prabhuji. That graph actually answered the question. So, Prabhuji, one out of context question. just ask you. So we are with the Krishna, right? One time I developed an enviousness to Lord Krishna, then I'm here. When I'm metal world, do I start from the first species of the 8.4 millions that circle or cycle, or I can come when I come to the metal world, it can be any species as per Krishna's plan.
I remember I was in Michigan earlier this year, I believe. Whenever I last went, I don't recall when I went. Oh, it was last year, I think, yeah, September. His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu was there. And this is someone asked this question. This question has multiple flavors: fall down of Jiva, were we with Krishna? If you were with Krishna, why did we get envy? So, right? So things like that. So this is like a frequently unasked or not to be asked question. So Prabhupada shared this in multiple places, and even some many devotees. This is like have a different perspective on this, or different insights. The long story short is that somehow we are here. Where were we before? Were we with Krishna, or we were not with Krishna, or we were in the Krishna Loka, which is in the material world? Some devotees give that also as an understanding, that there is Krishna Loka in the material world also. Probably we were there. Or probably we were close to Krishna but not with Krishna. Or probably we were with Krishna and somehow we got that end. Because someone will say, well, yadgatva nani vartante tadham paramam mama. If having attained once, one cannot fall down. So how can, like, if you attained it once, how can? So let's not go into that, like, in English they say can of worms. So otherwise we will get bewildered. Let's keep practicing our bhakti sincerely and at the right time. Some things are revealed at the right time, right? Like, for example, if a child, I'm like a child, in bhakti, um, and I'm trying to understand, like, it's hard for me to respond towards 2 plus 3, and I'm thinking about Pythagoras theorem, or I'm thinking about calculus. Like, it will come if I keep practicing the 2 plus 3 rightly. It will come at the right time. So that's what one response is also shared. And Prabhupada made it very simple. Prabhupada said, when we are in the ocean and we are drowning, and someone gives, hey, hold this rope, come out. So what we will do? We'll first hold the rope and get out. But someone will say, well, tell me how did I get in there first? Who pushed me? Or did I fall down myself, or someone pushed me down, or what? Prabhupada said, well, first get out. This is the emergency time, right? So that was a response given. So long story short, it's a little bit too deep and too big of a topic. And again, I don't know. I am just a toddler in bhakti. And in what species we came, it's also very hard to say. But long story short, we have taken many lives. Bahunam Janmanam, right? Krishna says we have taken many lives. Now, and passed through those 8.4 million species, so many, like, uncountable. Now, will that make a big difference if I say it was cow or deer or bat or owl or fish or reptile? I don't think it's going to make any difference in our current approach or doing bhakti or future approach. So I don't know the specific answer, but these are some thoughts. I'm not sure how much it helps.
No, thank
Maybe
you.
you can add, or Subal Prabhu can add if anything.
Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. Prabhuji, yeah, as you said, yeah, multiple times Prabhupada said that example. And also I heard Prabhuji, I'm not sure which Prabhuji, one of the senior devotee I was hearing, he mentioned that we all have become Brahma once, while falling down. So that also I have heard Prabhuji. And gradually we came down. But anyway, the good thing is we need to go back. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Mm. Wow. Thank you. I think Upendra Prabhu was, when I was at his home, he was sharing a very similar story, that how so many lifetimes, right, we have taken. He shared a story from Mahabharata. Yeah, on the same lines, basically. But Krishna knows all those lives. He says, "Oh Arjuna, many, many lives you and I have taken, but you don't remember. I remember all of them." Like he says in the Bhagavad Gita. Any other thoughts, comments, Prabhuji? Okay. We'll read one last verse and then pause for today. Text 36, Prabhuji, you want to read?
I can read. Hare Krishna devotees, Dhamma Pranam, all glories to Śrīla Prabhupada. Text 35. Sinchagno nastab
Prabhu,
adharm.
36, yeah, 35 we read.
Oh, sorry. Text 36. Irhi ambujaksha tabo pado talam ramaya datto shanam kachit aranno jano priyasya ashpraksmatat pravati nanni samaksham anja statum tabbhaya viramita vato prayo ama. Translation by the devotees of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Sri Prabhupada, Sri Prabhupada ki joy. Translation. O lotus-eyed one, the goddess of fortune considers it a festive occasion whenever she touches the soles of your lotus feet. You are very dear to the residents of the forest, and therefore will also touch those lotus feet. From that time on, we will be unable even to stand in the presence of any other man, for we will have been fully satisfying by you. So we see as a devotee, the gopis, how they're signed into the Lord. So they gave their mind, body, their consciousness, everything to Lord Krishna. They're totally absorbed. Back to Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So here the gopis reveal a kind of purvarag. Purvarag is like, purva means before. Breaking the shyness. Lajja cheda. So Srila Rupa Goswami mentions in Ujjval Lena Mani, there is Nyaya Priti, there is Chinta, thinking of the beloved, and Sankalpa, deciding to be with the beloved. The gopis are saying, seeing your beautiful eyes, as we see here in text 36, everything is compared to lotus, right? So lotus eyes, lotus feet. Your beautiful eyes has invoked our initial desire, but what will happen the moment you place your lotus feet upon our breast in the groves of Govardhan or elsewhere. Just the touch of your lotus feet, which are desired even by the Lakshmi, Narayana's dearmost consort in Vaikuntha, can create a festival full of desire for intimate pleasure. So Krishna's Hare Krishna. Sorry, I'm just getting a call. The goddess of fortune considers it as a festive occasion when she touches the soles of your lotus feet. So anything in contact with the Supreme Lord is basically a festival. We are touching the Japa Mala every day. What is that? That's actually the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. We can think like that, and that's true actually. And we can take that as a festival every day. Oh wow. When the Lakshmi touches the feet of the Lord, it's like a festival. So I am getting the same opportunity to touch the lotus feet of the Lord and to sing his glories. Right? Chanting is nothing but glorification, a prayer, a call. Krishna, I'm yours, you are mine. Please engage me in your service. The Gopis understood this point by hearing from Garga Muni and about the Naga Patnis, right? The Naga Patnis, they performed many to attain your lotus feet. You remember this in the Bhagavatam we read? The Naga Patni said to Kṛṣṇa, what fortune this Naga, this Kaliya has done? What fortune? This fortune, hundreds and millions of Lakshmis are waiting to get the touch of your lotus feet, and you just not like once, bang, 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 dancing upon the hoods of Kaliya. Oh my God. What fortune, great fortune, Ahobhagya, right? Therefore, these feet will also create a festival of desires, full of desires for us who dwell in the forest. Then it is so surprising that the cowherd women would not be attracted to them. So Krishna is saying, what is your qualification to achieve the object which Lakshmi hankered for? Lakshmi is the goddess of fortune. What is your qualification? The gopis are replying, your feet are very dear to the cowherds who dwell in the forest. Aranya Jana Priyasya. Aranya Jana Priyasya. Aranya means Vrinda Aranya Ramya Sthana. Aranya, Dandakaranya, right? Naimish Aranya. So a lot of Aranya means forest. Aranya Jana. Jana means people. Priyasya. Aranya, like your feet are very priya to the people who live in the forest. That means cowherd. We are cowherd. We live in the forest, Vrindavan. So from your lotus feet we will not be able to stand in the presence of our husbands. Just the sight of our husbands will fill us with contempt. You will bless us with the highest limits of enjoyment and will become completely satisfied. Therefore, please do not send us away. In short, the gopis were pitifully crying. Give the touch of your lotus feet, the one the gopis are waiting for. And we are the forest dweller, and you are very dear to the forest dwellers. So, and you are the one actually who can fully satisfy one. Full satisfaction. Only Krishna can give. Best of the husbands, best of the wives, best of the house, best of the job, best of children, best of this. One cannot get full satisfaction. One may get momentarily pleasure. One may get some short-term relief. But ultimately, if we want real happiness and full satisfaction, then we have to connect to the source of real happiness and source of all pleasure, and that is one and only Shyam Sundar, Murli Manohar, Makhan Chor, Sri Krishna. Thank you. So I guess we'll pause here. Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Purana ki jai, Jagat Guru Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai, Samved Gaur Bhakta ki jai, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Hari Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.